to this week's episode of the Inside the GEFA podcast, your only source for Inside the GEFA's news and highlights. And whoo boy, we have a lot to get into. For the first round of the playoffs, we're going to be previewing the second round of playoffs. And as always, my name is Dan Morales. I am going to be your moderator for this evening, and I'm going to toss it over to our president, the man with the plan, Mr. James Simonson. Take it away, El Presidente.
Thank you, Danny. Like Danny said, we got a pretty good episode for everybody. Hopefully it's a good episode. Vinny's going to be missing, I guess. Not that you guys would be able to tell. But we're going to talk about the Warriors-Wildcats rematch. And a decent game that was. And then we'll get into we'll get into this one first. Mustangs traveling to the Comanche. Ooh. Comanche win 56-12.
Yep. I mean, that's pretty much what it looked like. I mean, Comanche just owned it from the jump. I think they scored on the third play of the game, I think. And from there, it was pretty much all Comanche. I mean, their D line was just killing. I don't know how many times you got to see the same blitz before you start changing shit at the line of scrimmage, but apparently, as many times as the Comanche were running it, Mustangs coaching staff made no adjustments whatsoever. And I mean, that's pretty much it. Like, they literally brought four-man pressure every play. Linebacker came scot-free pretty much every play. And their quarterback was running for his life pretty much every play. And the Comanche did what they did, man. They threw the ball, they ran the ball, and they dominated on defense. Pretty much cut and dry. I mean, you lose by 40-some points. There's not a whole lot to talk about. That's just a straight-up ass whooping. I mean, like I said, I think the biggest take from me is, like I said, like you see the same blitzes, like there just wasn't no adjustments. Like you seeing the same guy blitz repeatedly and you do nothing to stop him. You didn't add more guys down there. You put more receivers in the game. Like that don't make no sense. You got to do something to help out your quarterback. Just pretty much what I saw. Comanche do what the Comanche do, man. It's playoff time. Mom's a good coach. He knows how to game plan. It might have been a close match the first time around, but I guarantee he broke a lot of film down. He had probably 20 meetings with his guys. Everybody was locked in and focused. You know what I mean? They made the adjustments they needed to, and they do what they do when the playoffs come around, man. They're a good team with a good staff, and they know how to make adjustments. Am I the only one to watch the game? I only watched 8.5 minutes of it. I had to shut it off after that because by then it was like a 4-score lead.
Yeah, I saw the first half, but I mean, you literally hit right on every point. I mean, the Comanche defense just constantly kept really aggressive pressure. I mean, you'd see a guy miss, and as soon as the quarterback or whoever had the ball would try to adjust, there'd be another guy in orange right there on him. I do think that the Mustangs' defensive line was pretty aggressive too, but ultimately that Comanche D line really controlled the trenches, so slowed down what they could do, and they were able to take advantage of it.
Yeah, I mean, Mustangs defensively had a couple of chances early in the game, and they just couldn't, finish. They couldn't get off the field. Like they would, I don't know what happened, but it went from like nothing to something. Like they literally went from like fourth down to first down, but you didn't see like a penalty call or anything like that. So I have no clue what that was about. But there were a couple of times where they had them, third and long, fourth down, and they just couldn't get off the field, and ended up turning into points. And you're down 3 or 4 scores. You're not making any adjustments on offense. They're just basically pinning their ears back, coming full blast at you. I mean, they know they're coming full blast at you. You got split seconds to throw the ball, so they're just going to sit on those underneath routes. I mean, the chances you hitting something deep are real slim. And Comanche, like I said, they just do what they do. I mean, that's a good staff over there. They know what they're doing with a lot of veteran leadership on that team.
Yeah, it's been said time after time about Monk. Second time around, playing them in the playoffs, completely different. And it showed in that game. It's going by the score. I think it was 34-0 at halftime. And
Sounds about right.
That's a hole that's hard to come back by.
Yeah. I mean, we say time and time again, like, you really start to see, those adjustments when you're playing teams the second time around. You start to see, who's watching the film, who's preparing, who's seeing, okay, we could do this, we could do that, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, just breaking down film in general. And I mean, Monk's one of the best in the league, so it showed. I mean, it showed. What was their first game around? Like a 1-point win? Came down to like a Hail Mary or some shit?
Right.
Yeah. You know what I mean? He wasn't leaving no doubt in the playoffs. Like, that's quality all around, from coaching staff to players, man. Everybody's building their game plan, and they went out there and executed it.
Lancaster County Cyclones said QB1 played all game. I'm assuming it's about London.
I mean, he's been playing though. He seems
but
fine.
that first game he wasn't there.
I
guess he got
yeah,
hurt
okay,
early.
yeah, that's right. That makes sense. That's right. That's the game he did get hurt in. Good point. Good point.
Josh Neal says coaching let down Hazleton.
I mean, honestly, I kind of agree. Like, it's hard to watch the film and not agree with that statement. Like, that's why I said, like, the key thing for me that stood out was, like, I'm watching, I only watched 10 minutes of the film before I shut it off. And it was like, I kept seeing the same thing. Middle linebacker blitzing, every play. And every time it was 3-man front. Like, your 3-man front can only block 3 guys. They're not blocking 4. You're asking your quarterback to do an awful lot, and you were struggling to block the 3 guys that you had to block, let alone block a 4th one. Like, at that point in time, you just have to see what you got and, adjust. And then there was no adjusting. Like, you can't put 3 down against 4 men that are blitzing every time. You got to make them come up off of that. You didn't. And they were like, well, if you're not going to make us change, then we're just going to keep coming. And I mean, really, like, by the time you even started adjusting, you're down 4 scores. Like, at that point, it's bag it and tag it. This one's and it's over.
That game was over from the second that they won in Brady. Like, atmosphere, everything. They seemed a lot more confident going in while I was there, as someone that was there experiencing it. Atmosphere, they won from.
I mean, I know
they were a lot more ready for that game. It felt like.
You're cutting out, Trey.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
You're all good, Trey.
No, yeah, it just felt like the Comanches were a lot more ready for the game, physically and mentally. It didn't seem like the Mustangs were really in the game mentally on a lot of aspects. Just from the first play of the game, just it didn't seem like anybody really came up to make attack. No one really came up to make a hit. It and the Comanche just owned it. They look dominant. I don't know who's going to stop them.
All right, let's move on to the next one. Oh, Vinny, did you have anything to add?
I did not. Thor's expression kind of spoke enough for me. He's gone now. It made him mute. It made him. Never mind. I'm going too. Let me go back to my corner where I was.
All right, let's move on to the Wildcats hosting the Warriors. First time the Wildcats hosted a playoff game since 2012. They went all out for it. They even got Williamsport Area High School. Wildcats win 64-48, I believe.
Score was a lot closer in the end than what the game actually was, as far as I'm concerned. I mean, the Wildcats just looked like a polished football team. I mean, they played great defense, and with Ellis back there. I mean, their offense ran precisely. Like, he hit the checkdowns when they were there for 8 yards, and then took the shots when they were available down the field. And I think everybody in their wide receiver core that I saw scored a touchdown. I mean, got to give a shout out to the OG. I saw you run that post route for 6, buddy. Good shit. Good shit. But yeah, I mean, it just, and Warriors kind of just struggled to get anything going, really. Like they didn't really build any consistency on offense. A lot of pressure. A lot of missed open throws. Guys were open. Just, when you're getting pressure a lot, you start hearing stuff. You start feeling footsteps. That ball starts getting out a lot faster. Balls start to be errant and stuff like that. And they just struggled. And you're not going to do that against a team like the Wildcats that can put up 60 points. I mean, I think Warriors got down like three or four scores early in the first half, and it's pretty much it after that. I mean, business as usual, I guess, for the Wildcats. Like, I'm not surprised by that. Like I'm pretty sure from what film showed me that they finally had a full roster. I think everybody was there. I think Gabe had like 3 interceptions. You know what I mean? Like they were balling. I mean, when they got their full squad and everybody's on the same page and they're playing like a football team, they're going to be tough to beat too. I mean, they got a damn good slew of weapons. Hell, JR even had like a 20-yard TD run or something like that. I mean, shit, it's going good for you when JR's out there juicing dudes for 20 and a TD.
I heard JR was playing running back a little bit.
He played running back the majority of the game from what I saw.
Yeah.
I mean, they rotated several guys in there. I do want to say that was kind of hardcore that y'all made 28 do all that work on that one run, and then he gave it to 25 for the TD run. That was brutal. But nah, yeah, I mean, it was just another statement. I mean, like I said, neither one of those games were real competitive, and by the time that, like I said, this game became competitive, it was kind of like already over. You know what I mean? Like the Wildcats just kind of were like easing into that victory. Like I think this is another one where teams just didn't come quite as prepared as they should have. Like it's playoff football. This time to lay it all on the line, or don't even step on the field. Let somebody else do your job that will lay it all on the line.
I know when I talked to T a little bit, one of the things he was talking about was how impressed he was with Ellis and how Ellis was like pretty much like Oprah out there asking everybody if they got a touchdown yet. And if they didn't, sure enough, the next drive, they got a touchdown. So it's
Pretty much how it was.
but I
That's
think
what I said. Like,
I think this Wildcats team's really starting to click these past couple weeks, and it's the right time to do it going into the playoffs.
I mean, they're starting to become a football team. You know what I mean? From what I saw on film, they're a lot better than they were, even just 3 or 4 weeks ago. Like, I just think they're starting to really believe in what they're doing, and they're just playing good football. And they got a lot of weapons. I mean, that team's loaded. They're just another one of those teams that brought in a bunch of different weapons. You know what I mean? That they all had to work together. They all had to build that rapport. So, another one of those teams that maybe didn't play their greatest during the regular season, but now are starting to hit on all cylinders at the right time. I guess I'm riding
Anybody got
solo
anything
on
else?
this one. So I guess I'm riding solo on this one.
I guess I'll weigh in. I'll just say this real quick. Wildcats, if any of your fans are out there, if any of your players are out there, you outplayed us and you outplayed us hard. That was well played, and good luck to you guys next round in the playoffs. As much as it pains me to say it, I'll be rooting for you just this just this one game, because to be frank, y'all deserve it.
I love it.
Anybody else have anything to add to it?
Nah, real dominant team.
All right, so let's get into the finals. We're down to Comanche Vikings, and we're down to Wildcats Buffaloes.
I mean, it's exactly the 4 teams I think we all picked at the beginning of the year. I mean, they're just the 4 teams that are head and shoulders above everybody else right now. Should make for a hell of a Saturday. Which one we starting with?
Let's start with Wildcats Buffaloes.
This is a 5 p.m. kickoff, is it not?
What's that?
5 p.m. kickoff.
I'm assuming. I have no idea yet. Stoner and Zembauer are still working the details out on that. But I believe so.
I mean, this game's not going to be the same game that you saw a couple of weeks ago when these 2 teams played each other. That'll be the first thing I say about it. Like I said, the Wildcats are just a much different football team now. And, everything's a lot different when Ellis is the quarterback. He's been a proven quarterback in this league for years. He's won a bunch of games. He's owned some records in this league as a quarterback. Like he's solid. And when he's back there, everything just runs better. And and if the Buffaloes don't shape up that secondary, it could be a long day for these boys, especially with the Wildcats taking that loss the first time around to them. They're coming in looking for blood. This is the time of the year the Buffaloes get to, and then they can't get over the hurdle.
This guy.
I mean, everybody knows what they're going to put on the field. We all know that. We've been seeing it all year. We've been seeing it. They did the same thing last year. They're a solid football team. They're going to come out. They're going to play smash mouth football. They're going to be physical. They're going to play. They're going to play lights out up front on defense. I think the only real question I have in this game is how does that secondary hold up against that passing attack? Because, obviously the Wildcats are a lot more comfortable when Ellis is back there. They threw probably the ball more than I've seen them throw it with anybody else in the game. But they were also balanced. Like, they also brought that rushing attack to the field too. So, it's not like they're just pass dominant. Like, they can gash you for 20 yards and a touchdown. But ultimately, I think it comes down to that secondary versus that passing attack of the Wildcats. I'll make my pick after everybody else gets to say what they have to say.
Yeah, you can't say all that and not make a pick. You can't talk for 5 minutes and not make a pick. Yeah, 3 weeks ago they were a juggernaut. Now all of a sudden you don't know what they got. Man, that D line's gonna win the football game. That D line's gonna win the football game. That D line's gonna win the football game. Buffaloes 48-32. Ellis can't throw off his back.
All right, that's been disproven.
That's a superior analysis there. I love it.
Well, all that preaching, you said all that, but didn't say nothing. What's your pick? You can't go on vacation.
I mean, I thought y'all would have given like a breakdown of the game, and then we could have picked who we thought was going to win. But I guess that's not how we want to do it.
You have been missing for the last couple of weeks, haven't you?
I think the main thing is with the Buffalo secondary. I think they got exposed versus the Vikings, and I think going into this one, the Wildcats are going to be able to use that same formula to beat the Buffaloes. I'm saying Wildcats by 20.
Wow.
I think the Wildcats exposed that way before the Vikings.
Well, last year they did.
No, I mean this season. They lost, but I think they showed.
Half.
Yeah, I think they showed very well that they can move the ball and do what they need to do. That defense just stepped up. Choppy, aren't it?
Well, Danny, you're the only other one that's going to pick. So,
Well, I'm going to pick here. But I do agree. I mean, defensive adjustment on the Wildcat side is ultimately one of the biggest factors. I don't see a major roster change from the Buffaloes. They're still going to be home. They're still going to have the same officiating crew. But we see a lot of.
Geez, good job, Thor.
What? I'm just saying, like, there's like the environment from their perspective isn't going to be dramatically different. Maybe I'm wrong, but the Wildcats, what they're going to bring in this time versus last time is going to be, like you guys said. I mean, I'm picking the Wildcats. I think they win. But I think it's more like 50-42.
I'm too lazy to go with the score, so I'm just gonna say go Wildcats.
Trey, you're such a piece of shit.
I've been riding the Buffs all year. I ain't gonna stop now. Buffaloes win 42-40.
I just felt that was very important for me.
Yeah, Trey, that was shitty.
What I miss? I can't read the comments.
You're good. You're good.
Trey out of nowhere with it. That has me fucking dying. All right, let's get into. Everybody made their picks.
Yep.
All right, let's get into the next one. Vikings hosting the Comanche.
Woo, buddy. This is prime time.
This one should be fun.
7:00.
Ooh, boy. We know how them Comanche MOBA games get in prime time. Some logos might get violated.
Oh, you went there. Come on.
Oh, shit. I love it. You can't ever forget that.
Yeah, it was great.
We'll just give it in the chat, Trey. If you can't give your opinion on the stream, just give it in the chat.
You know, I mean, this is two powerhouse programs that have played plenty of battles together, both as Vikings and, you know, the Cyclone guys that are playing for the Vikings this year. I mean, it's going to be a hell of a game. I wouldn't doubt that. But there's no way in hell I'm going against Greg Medina in this game, or the guys that are around him. No way. There's no way. I'm not going to do it. Would never do it. They're going to do what they do because it's playoff football, and this is what they're born to do. I say 60-34.
Would you pick the Comanche?
No. Stop it. Stop it. Vikings. You know better than that.
I'm
You
gonna
know better than that.
I'm gonna second this. I think it's gonna be Vikings winning over the Comanche.
Vinny?
I'm thinking. Fuck it. Comanche, 48-46 in overtime.
Oh, shit, in OT.
All up on the logo.
So you gotta go into
Damn,
OT.
so we talking like, what is this? If we're going to OT, what are we talking, like a 1 a.m., a 1 a.m. final?
Hey, man, I'm not allowed to talk about the clock out there, apparently.
I'm going to do it because I know the business store off every goddamn time.
Every fucking never fails.
What's the temperature supposed to be like on Saturday?
90 degrees up there.
Ooh. It's going to be like 110 on that field.
No, what's it supposed to be at night, though? It's not going to be 90 at 7 o'clock at night. Yeah. I mean, once the sun goes down. Monk got your number, Thor.
Oh, yeah.
Got you on this one. Yep.
I mean, it's going to. Are you streaming this live? Please tell me you're putting this in the live.
You talking to me?
Yeah, you're the host, aren't you?
I didn't really plan to.
The host with the most. Get the media team up there, James.
Yeah. Fenderson said, Vinny, last time you went against the Vikings scored 88.
Yeah, I just responded. I just responded to him. That's what's up. Score 88 again. Fuck it. I don't care. Prove me wrong. I don't give a shit. I hope you do score 88 again. Just don't give up 89.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I'm number 80. It's crazy wordplay, Vinny.
It is. It is.
All right, we got anything else to add?
Nope. Sit. Almost to the pinnacle. Who's it gonna be?
Talk about
Who wants it more?
let's talk about the Brent Melhorn roast. Yes, yay. Let's move on.
Okay.
It's like, where are we going with that? Hey,
I
Danny,
just
what's
want
the score of that game?
I feel like I pointed out.
Score of what? The final?
No, for the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It is
Oh.
Edmonton 1, Florida 1, with just hit 5:10 in the second.
Ooh. Man, the way it started off, I thought there'd be more scoring going on.
Oh no, me too. Me too.
All righty.
All right, Danny.
And
Take us
Florida
away.
just scored. Florida just
God
scored
damn
at
it.
2-1 Panthers. Like they literally just scored. But enough of that, ladies and gentlemen. This has been Inside the GEFA. We'll see you right back here next week where we will have a championship preview, a Keystone Bowl preview for you. And until then, I am Danny Morales. I've been your moderator tonight. And stay tuned and we shall see you soon. Peace.
Comanche versus Buffs.